welcome to the WrestleManiacs podcast. Joining me for today's show, it is none other than Joshua.
I am back, at least for this time. I am back for predictions to, defend my title, I guess I should say, of being the tribal chief of last week.
Yes, so
Or last
tonight,
month, whatever.
for tonight's show, we're going to be doing Crown Jewel predictions. As we all know, Crown Jewel is tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow or today, depending on what coast you are on.
Right.
But all right. So we have quite a few things to talk about. So let's kick things off talking about Seth fucking Rollins and Bronson Reed. So they've been doing quite a number on each other. As we know, Bronson Reed took out Seth freaking Rollins for a few weeks. But what's been your thoughts on this?
I thought it's been good. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I want to buy Bronson Reed as a threat. I do. I think they're doing their best to make him feel like a threat. It's hard to say. They are building him right, as they should, but I still feel like there's something missing with Bronson Reed. There's something, and I don't know if it's, and this may just be me because it's weird, but I feel like even the attire he has on as he wrestles, I don't know. It's hard to take him seriously. Now, I love that they're doing the brawls, and I mean, they're definitely building it up like if Brock Lesnar was there and, fighting somebody. But I don't know. I still feel there's something missing of Bronson Reed being a threat to Seth Rollins. And it may be the Seth Rollins effect that, we're used to him having challengers when he was World Heavyweight Champion. Look at Shinsuke, look at AJ, and, it never panned out for them. So unless they have him really get cleanly defeated by Bronson, I don't know. I still feel like there's something missing in this feud.
I've actually really liked this feud. I really liked their mini parking lot brawl that we had this past Monday. I thought that was really great.
Yes.
I definitely think that they've been building up Bronson Reed pretty good. He is a monster. Did you see him as Jonah in TNA when he was in TNA?
I didn't. I mean, I've heard he was quite the beast in TNA. I did hear that. And I mean, I like him. Don't get me wrong. I just still feel like if we get Seth Rollins going over him, it's kind of like, what did we build him for at this point? I mean, that's what I want to see.
Yeah. So who do you think should win?
If they want to build Bronson Reed as a credible threat, to me, he's got to come out on top, and he's got to be dominant. It's got to be that sort of like, holy shit, he actually beat Seth freaking Rollins. Because I mean, we're talking about a multiple world champion. Then, to me, sometimes I think when Seth Rollins says this, it helps and it sometimes hurts, where he made a statement saying, look, I have fought kings and I've beaten beasts, and I'm now fighting you. It's kind of a comparison. It's just like, well, what are you doing differently than Brock Lesnar has done? What are you doing differently than Triple H has done? So to me, the winner, I think, should be, and I'm hoping for it to be, Bronson Reed, because he needs that lift.
I also had to pick Bronson Reed. I agree with you. If you're gonna build Bronson Reed up, he has to beat Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins does not need to win. He can take the loss. Bronson needs this win. So I also picked Bronson Reed to win.
What I don't want to see happen is I don't want to see this feud end up to where Bronson Reed loses it, and then to gain his momentum, show up on SmackDown and attack Cody the same way, and then again we get the same situation to where unless he's going to win something, because it's a tried and true formula, it seems like. Like, I'm still waiting on Shinsuke to all of a sudden reappear and attack somebody randomly because, that's what he does.
Yeah. Alrighty, so what are your confidence points for this?
I'm going to throw a 3 on this.
A 3?
And hope for the best. Because, again, I think it is sometimes a Seth Rollins effect. I mean, I think they're getting to the point to where they're starting to make it to where it's hard. I mean, I can't imagine how hard it is to book wrestling anyways, but much less having to keep everybody strong but not make anybody seem boring. And Seth kind of, I think, to me, I'm glad he's gone more serious, because the whole dancing thing, I think, is over at this point. I think we've seen it too long, at least in my opinion. I need something different.
All right. I also, my confidence points for this is also a 3. I definitely think that Bronson Reed is winning this, or he should win this.
Right.
All right. So now let's talk about some championship gold. So this is for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. This is interesting because like I feel like this is kind of like SmackDown versus Raw in a way. Like you're taking
Literally.
your Raw Women's Champion and it's just going up against SmackDown Women's Champion.
It's bragging rights all over again. The pay-per-view, literally, it's bragging rights.
Yeah. And apparently from what they've been saying, um this title is going to stay in Saudi. So it's not like they get to
Thank
defend
God.
with everywhere they go. It's just stay in
They're
Saudi
gonna
Arabia.
have a ring to go along instead, like a Super Bowl ring. Which I mean, I guess it does play a little bit into the I don't want to say it makes it an MJF type of gimmick, but it almost does in a way.
Oh, because of the Dynamite Diamond Ring?
Because he said it's going to be some giant ass ring that they're going to be wearing, and because it's going to be a yearly thing, some people could have multiple rings. I'm like Super Bowl rings or whatever you want to call it. So you have to ask the question, how big is this thing going to be, and is it going to play a factor?
Mm-hmm.
And who needs the ring in order to use it? That's what I think is interesting. Is now like, okay, well, the ring is surely they're not just going to have this ring and then not wear it. So somebody's going to make a gimmick out of it. Who would use that best gimmick?
Mm.
So that kind of swayed my who I think is going to win this one.
Okay, who do you got winning?
I believe it or not, I have got Liv winning this one.
Liv?
Because if you think about it, she's smaller. She needs some sort of gimmick, and Dom can only interfere so many times. Does Nia really need a ring on her figure? I don't think so. I think she's a monster herself. So, and plus, I think the idea of Tiffany's getting tired of being treated like trash. It could be finally the moment everybody wants to see where Tiffany steals the real crown jewel from Nia.
I like your idea that you said last time that Tiffany should cash in at WrestleMania just because we haven't had a woman cash in at WrestleMania.
Oh, I'd love it. I mean, God, that would be perfect, especially in Vegas. It's Tiffy time in Vegas. But I think the
Tiffany
story, you
time.
can only go so long, I think, with the Nia story. And again, they're already, I mean, granted, look on SmackDown, there was the planted seeds of, maybe I need a little bit of dirty in my life if I steal it from Liv. To me, that's kind of telegraphing, okay, curious, really is not going to be that simple. She's not going to tell you what the plans are. It's going to be, I think Nia's finally going to get that sort of comeuppance. Because again, I mean, it's a match. I mean, who's to say that Tiffany doesn't cost her the match and then steals the title right after, or even in the middle of it? Who knows?
I feel like there's a part of me that feels like Nia Jax could win just because of the Tiffany factor, but I don't know. Like on SmackDown, Tiffany did say that Nia Jax shouldn't get too comfortable, but she
Yep,
backtracked and said that she was just trying to say that it's all part of her plan. I do think the ultimate goal is to have Tiffy cash in on Nia Jax here.
sure.
And the question is, does that play a role into this? Now, like you said, who needs that ring more, Nia Jax or Liv Morgan?
Morgan, because you also can play into the fact of, look, Dom helped me get a ring. Well, I mean, you could do all that sort of, hoopla too, of saying, oh gosh, here's Dom. He's giving her a ring. Finally, he's giving, I mean, all that sort of sappy stuff too. So, I mean, they could play into that too, that, if Dominic does help her win ultimately, they could play into the story of, he gave me a ring. He gave me a ring, finally. Daddy Dom gave me a ring and put a ring on it, y'all. And then that could be boo, and then you could go from there. So that would,
I do agree. I could see an MJF situation out of this where she uses a ring in her matches.
yeah. It makes more sense because, I mean, for Nia Jax to be a dominant powerhouse like she is, she doesn't need the ring.
Yeah, that's true. She doesn't. She really doesn't.
I mean, like, look at William Regal. Granted, he was a badass in general, but it played into his gimmick of a heel. And I think that when Dom's not around, again, you can always play into the factor of, well, Daddy Dom helped because he put a ring on it, y'all. I mean, that could be a whole gimmick for at least another couple of months. And it could be, I just think that's going to play into Liv and Rhea eventually coming back, So I think Liv will take this one. And plus, if you think about it, if Tiffany really wants to screw Nia Jax over, take her title and the possibility of being the first ever crown jewel champion.
Damn, you convinced me, man. I was gonna pick Nia Jax, but after you said the whole like you have Liv, it makes a lot of sense. I gotta go with Liv on this one.
Yeah, I got to go with Liv. Now, confidence points. I'm gonna be bold here. I'm gonna throw a 6 on this one.
You're gonna throw a
I'm
6?
gonna be bold. I'm gonna throw a 6.
Okay.
Why not
Be
get dangerous
bold.
a little bit?
Are you gonna do cash bonus for your cash in?
Yes, I would say
Okay.
yes. Now, again, granted, Tiffany, I don't think would telegraph it, but at the same time, I think her talking about, well, I can cash in on Liv and have a little bit of dirty in my life, and of course, Liv saying, I mean, again, there's enmity there, but I still think you can only drag out this whole idea of she's going to cash in so long. The only other alternative I could think of, and this is why I'm going back and forth on it, is that she could try it and then Nia just destroys her, takes her out for months and months. But again, how do you get that story continued if she's taken out for months and months and months by Nia destroying her? So, again, I think she's going to cash in and win this one.
Okay.
Because there's never been a cash in. If I remember, I don't think there's ever been a cash in at Crown Jewel, right? A successful cash in. I think I'm right on that.
I think you are. I don't think.
And so, if Saudi Arabia wants a bunch of stuff, think about it this way. They're all about the WWE experience over there, right? What better thing to not only give them the Crown Jewel championships, but also Tiffany Stratton's destroyed Money in the Bank briefcase when she destroys Nia Jax with it.
Okay. I pre-ordered Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank briefcase when it was available for pre-order. I thought it was really cute.
Really? As I say, yeah, how did that turn out?
I don't know. It's not out yet.
I'd be curious to see. You definitely need to do an unboxing of that one. That's going to be fun to watch.
Definitely. I still haven't done my unboxing of my AEW trading cards. That's a whole different story, though.
Right.
My confidence points for this, based on what's left, I'm going to give this a 4.
Fair enough.
Okay. So next, let's do the men's title. As we know, it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Gunter. And I've actually, you haven't been watching the build to this match, have you?
I mean, I know that Gunter choked out Cody tonight. I know that. So, I mean, I've watched a little. I mean, I watched the most of it. Again, SmackDown's the only thing I really missed. Raw, I watched a pretty good amount of. NXT really is the only thing I've really been missing a lot, just because, again, YouTube TV does not have CW, which is so damn annoying. But I've liked it. I mean, I've liked that Gunther basically said, you're a champion, you can do it, but it's me. What are you going to do? And so, I mean, neither really needs it, to be honest with you. I mean, I get the idea, but I think for the story's sake, this is where the problem comes between Liv and Nia, because you don't have a clear babyface and heel, right? So
yeah,
that's the thing, is that the heel both could win at Saudi Arabia, but if this is the main event,
I don't think it is. It should be.
No.
I don't think it is.
No. I'm so torn on this one because, I mean, I'm going to throw Cody Rhodes out because he's the face of WWE, and what better to have him be the one to wear the ring for a couple of weeks and bring honor and prestige to it. I don't think Gunther's going to wear that gaudy ass thing that it's going to look like. I just don't see it. Because Gunther, again, doesn't need it. Because he's a monster himself. Cody, again, is not a heel, but if you're going to have a heel win the females version, you have to have, I would imagine, at least somebody win. And plus, if you think about it, if I think about the WWE experience down the line, this is Cody Rhodes' championship, the Crown Jewel championship that he won back in 2024. So I'm going to go with Cody on this and throw it at a 4. No. You know what? I'll throw it at a 5.
Okay.
Because, again, now we have to add the aspect of the WWE experience and what makes the most sense.
I'm also picking Cody. So for our answers are the same. We got to
We're gonna have a
That's
hell of
just
a time here. I'll have to
yeah.
diverge eventually on one of them, and I'm sure we will
No, no,
probably.
no. I'm sure we will too. But he says we got different confidence points, so who knows?
True.
So
That is true.
I also picking Cody just because they made a big deal about the fact that if Cody Rhodes wins, he'll be the first person and his family to win a title overseas.
Yep.
I just gotta go with
Interesting.
Cody, and I'm gonna bet it all on Cody Rhodes. I'm giving him a 6.
Go for it. Yeah.
All right. So next we get a preview of a Survivor Series War Games, the original Bloodline versus 3 members of Solo's Bloodline. That should be interesting. So,
I'm gonna go with the new bloodline on this one because they
God
have
damn
to have
it! Stop
some
stealing.
sort of. But let's throw something else in here. Let's throw a little bit of a extra point.
Okay.
Do we see the debut of someone helping them, or do they just win on their own?
Ooh, Hikaleo.
I'll let you go first on this one, and I'll diverge whatever you decide.
Okay. So you have to look at something here. You have to look at the fact that no matter what, the new bloodline, Solo's bloodline, already has the numbers advantage here. They
Yep.
already have the numbers advantage. There's one extra person. So I definitely do think they have the numbers game here. Now, does a person debut? Does Hikaleo debut here? Let me see. I can kind of see it,
Because we're in
especially
November.
especially if Jimmy and Jay take out whoever it gets left over. Because under the Freebird rule, any 3 of them could challenge the original bloodline. So, but I don't know. But here's the thing, though: like if you add Hikaleo to the new bloodline, that would be 5. That would be 5 people. So you would need to kick someone out, which would be Solo Sikoa, Randy Orton style.
Please, if there is, oh, please, I would love it. That would be the best day of my life to see that. Because, again, if you notice something that Jay said, man, we never dealt with them. We stayed away from them. Why would you bring them here? Mm-hmm. To me, I thought that planted a seed of warning Solo Sikoa, you can't trust these guys. And so I do wonder in my mind if they're going to try to make it to where Jacob Fatu steps up as the leader. Because to me, I don't think Solo is working, but it makes sense, I think, and that's their out of it. They decide to do that. It's like, dude, I warned you. We don't mess with them. We don't talk to them. Why would you bring them here? Because think about it. I mean, if you look at 2023, we've got, again, the Tonga and Tama, and then Jacob Fatu, all ones that really, unless you know about the independents, nobody in WWE knows. So they're automatically up here already, just by association. And so to me, setting that seed of we didn't talk to them, we don't bring them here, why are they even here? Again, this thing could take a big twist. I would love the twist, but I don't think they're going to do it. If it was me, I would have Sammy. Actually, because people are going to think, oh, Sammy's never going to turn. Sammy's never going to turn. Well, he needs something different, and putting a flavor on him doing it, maybe kicking Solo out of the bloodline. It's crazy, I know. But I mean, that would be really crazy. Hell of an interesting thing. And you know what? To me, we've already had Sammy and Roman, which is a great match. So, and again, think about it. We saw on Raw that, Sammy was found talking to Solo. What would he need to be talking to Solo for? What would be the point? Again, this could all be a giant plan all this time because, again, Sammy is smart. Sammy doesn't forget, especially getting beat in your own hometown the way he did. I mean, be a hell of a turn if all of a sudden Sammy shows up, lets them win, and all of a sudden he looks and just does this, and they all beat the bejesus out of Solo. Because then at that point, you go back to the 4-4 aspect. Mm-hmm. So really, there's no need to debut somebody. And then Hikaleo can show up in the War Games. It's an interesting concept, again, because Sammy showing up suddenly in the story, if they were going to make it to where he was going to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
I think if a babyface reaction, they should have had a mystery like, well, who's going to help them? Oh my God, it's Sami Zayn, the original Uso, you know. But to me, turn Sammy. Make Sammy a part of the bloodline. The new bloodline. Make
You
it
know
a big
what?
screw job the entire time. I know it's devious as shit, but it'd be perfect.
I'm gonna bring this up again when we do Survivor Series War Games predictions, but wouldn't it be something if Solo's bloodline loses and he's the one that takes the pin, and then that's what gives him the boot from the new bloodline,
Wins
bringing in
matter.
Hikaleo. Yeah.
Wins matter. And The Rock also in the background too. I mean, we don't know what's going on with that, but again, I just think Sammy needs something refreshing, and Kevin Owens just turned heel too. So what an amazing combination, him leading his own bloodline. And again, you could lead into eventually Jacob Fatu and them, of course, you know, taking over. But what a hell of a story. The idea that Jay, especially being friends with Sammy, doing that whole thing, they're brothers and stuff, only to find out, Jay, just because you and I are friends never meant I trusted you. Oh my God, the promo would be amazing from Sammy. And in Saudi Arabia, getting them to boo him there, that's something you would not expect. It's like having Goldberg booed in Atlanta or Hogan booed in New York. It would be a huge, huge turn that no one, I think, would expect and see coming.
You have some crazy ideas.
I do.
But I'm gonna pick the new bloodline, and my confidence points is a 1.
Okay, but do you have a debut in mind for Hikaleo or not?
You know what? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no just because the
I'll
new
say
blind
yes.
just because the new blind already has the numbers game.
Right.
No matter
I'll say
what.
yes. To diverge a little bit, I'll say yes.
So you're also picking the new bloodline?
I'll be the new bloodline, but I'll add an additional point saying that we're gonna have that. Now my numbers on this one. What do I have? I have it's 1
You
and
have
2.
3, 6, 5. So you still have 4 and 2. Oh, and 1.
I'll give it a 2.
A 2? Okay.
2.
A 2. Like in Shrek, pick what
Yeah.
was it? Pick 2?
Yeah.
Pick 2, my lord.
Pick 3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. God, I watched it so many times. Don't even get me started because now my son loves Shrek. So
How was your Halloween? How
it was
you're
good.
described as a
He
tired
was
dad?
Spider-Man. We went out a little bit and then kind of ran it with some of my friends over here. But I mean, it was okay. We kind of came in and hung out for a little bit. It was really more tonight. It was more our kind of post-Halloween show, but it wasn't bad. He enjoyed the candy, and of course, I picked out what he can't eat and what I wanted. So the dad tax,
What he can eat or what you're gonna eat for yourself?
No, like some things, like I don't mind him having lollipops, but like I don't like the Jolly Rancher Squares one, because I always feel that they come off so easy. So I don't want him to all of a sudden like pop it off. You know what I mean? Like if it was a little small one, I don't mind because I know he'll crunch it up. But the big one, I don't know. I just don't trust him.
All right. So next, we're gonna get Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Kevin Owens feeling betrayed because Cody Rhodes, teamed up with Roman Reigns, and he feels that Randy Orton betrayed him too because he sided with Cody Rhodes. So, have you liked the boat up to this?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was a little weird because they've kind of done the whole like, oh, he's so unhinged, and I don't feel it. I don't feel like there's this sort of danger with KO. Yes, you had him attack Cody and all that sort of stuff, but I just feel like, the whole like they're silencing me, they're not letting me say anything. I get that they're trying to be realistic with it, but it's okay. I'm not really into it, to be honest with you. I mean, again, I'm glad that there's reasoning for him turning, but for Randy for it to make sense, because if they're really going to go, let's say they do Orton and either Cody or no, here's what I'm thinking. We get Orton and Cody at the Rumble, maybe. So my thought process is that I just don't like it because, again, Orton eventually is going to turn on Cody too. So it's kind of like, what was the point of him turning? To me, it should have been a triple threat between them at Survivor Series, and Cody gets involved somehow. So I don't know. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. It's too
I
vanilla.
okay. I have to pick Randy Orton here as the victor with the 2 as my confidence points, just because I feel like Randy Orton is going to be Cody Rhodes' next challenge, and if that's going to be the case, he needs to win here.
Right. I would hope Kevin Owens wins on this one, and I'll diverge and throw a 4 because I think the Orton and Cody story happens later.
Mm.
Cody has to get through Orton at the Rumble in order to get to whoever it is he's going to be facing at WrestleMania in Vegas, whether it's The Rock or whether it's whoever.
Okay.
I think Orton and Cody is a bigger sell for Rumble than Cody and Owens.
I think Kevin Owens is going to become more unhinged once Sami Zayn rejoins the bloodline.
I mean, again, I can argue that Randy Orton wins and then Kevin becomes even more crazy, but I think to give him this sort of sense of danger, we need to have it to where he does what he needs to do. Orton, again, has history of back issues. He needs to make it to where he does that powerbomb on the apron and takes out Orton for a couple of months and
Oh,
lead to
wow.
a reign of terror. And then once Cody finally beats him, of course, he goes on to whoever he's going to feud with after. But then we lead to Randy Orton's coming back, and he's going to challenge whatever or whoever. And we get the Orton heel turn because, again, the idea is that while he was gone, he watched Cody do what he does. And you know what, you bastard, you never checked in on me but once. Or you never
Mm.
checked in on me. Well, Cody,
Okay.
Randy, I was too busy, blah, 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 blah. It's the feud of The Rock and Mankind. If you think back in history, with the whole chair shots at the Rumble. Now, again, this is real heat they had together, but Rock never went and checked on Mankind after that. And he was pissed about it. And so I'm thinking Orton could be taken out. He could come back and say, you were supposed to be my friend. Kevin basically almost killed me. And you just were okay with it. So I think that's where we tell the story. Orton gets taken out. Maybe not at Crown Jewel, but maybe he gets taken out here and gives him a couple months off. Let's see, November, December, comes back in December at the end, leads to Royal Rumble. So, and you know what? You could also tell the story that Cody didn't check. And again, the story could be, well, Cody's too busy. He's champion, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you know who checked on me? Even though he whipped my ass? Owens checked on me.
Oh, okay.
Even though he beat my ass, he at least checked on me to make sure and realize what he did. So you could tell this whole story that Kevin basically poisoned Randy Orton and said, I had to beat you so that you understood where this is coming from and see how selfish Cody is. So that's why I say Owens has to win and take out Orton.
So 4?
Yes, because another thing, too, on top of that, think about Triple H saying, I am protecting you from Owens because you got a history of back problems, Randy. The seeds have already been planted. You know what? And here's another thing. If he doesn't do the powerbomb on the apron, I would love a throwback to Triple H taking the sledgehammer to Shawn Michaels and hitting Orton in the back with a sledgehammer.
Oof.
What an insult to injury.
Literally.
So we can see Orton in a wheelchair, all kinds of crazy shit. But I think it would be perfect to have that because, again, even if Orton wins, still do that story. But I think Owens has to win this definitively and brutally in order to tell the story and be a challenger. Because if he loses to Orton and then challenges Cody, it makes no sense in a way.
Okay. I see what you're getting at. I see.
I know you like that. Bastard's almost convincing me. I know. I see it.
I was thinking of Randy, though.
Yeah.
All right. Last but certainly not least, we get a triple threat match for the United States title. It's L.A. Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. So I've actually been liking the feud, the build between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes here, and then L.A. Knight, getting in the mix. I absolutely like this. I'm so torn. Part of me wants L.A. Knight, to retain. But the other part of me wants Andrade, and then there's a small part of me that wants Carmelo Hayes too. So I don't know. This one's up in the air for me.
Who are you picking? I'll let you go on this last one first.
Okay, let me see. I'm gonna just pick. I'm gonna pick. Well, okay. The story here is between Andrade and Carmelo. So I feel like that's gonna play into the finish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick. Crap, I don't know. I have not thought about this. You go first.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and this is probably why it's my one. If you want to legitimize Carmelo, because he was again the top draft pick of SmackDown, and again we've talked about how his booking, at least to me, besides Andrade, he's the number one freaking draft pick. Like, what the hell has he been doing? Why is he not facing Cody again? So to me, because he's been on this sort of streak of not being really important, I think you tell the story that Carmelo steals this. That the
Oh,
idea is
Melo.
Andrade almost gets it definitively. 1, 2, and then Carmelo, sneaky little bastard Carmelo, jumps in, wins the title. And again, you could lead to another triple threat at Survivor Series. I mean, this is going to be a good match, I think. I think you really do tell the story because you want to build Andrade up. You don't want him as champion at first. I think Andrade is still cooking. And Carmelo really is still cooking, but at least I just think you see Carmelo run out and say, see, I told you I was the number one draft pick, baby. I won the championship. The first time I got a title shot, guess what? Melo don't miss. I'm a champion. Or something like that. And again, he could lie. I mean, he could have had another title shot, but heels lie. So they don't care. It doesn't matter. You don't have to follow he didn't win. So I think this is a sneaky, he runs off with the championship and LA Knight goes on to feud with somebody bigger.
Okay.
Because at this point, what else is LA Knight going to do? Who else could be a good challenger? Jimmy? But Jimmy's the face now. So where do you go from here? Jacob fought too in LA Knight? I mean, a lot of different things can happen, but I just don't think we're going to have a title on LA Knight much longer. Not because he's been a bad champion. I just think they want to build him up more.
Well, a triple threat would be a good way for LA Knight, to lose the title, but I'm going to go and pick LA Knight, to retain. And this is my 5. So I have him retaining here. Huh?
I'll take my 1 on this one. Again, I just would love to see LA Knight and Jacob fought too, because, he kind of sits in the background anyways. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with LA Knight because of the fact that he's over. And he doesn't need a title now. Somebody else needs to be built up. And Carmelo has been talking about being number 1 and the greatest. You eventually got to prove you're him one way or another.
Alrighty, so that concludes our predictions. Man, those are just our predictions. Let us know your predictions in the live chat or in the comment section down below. As far as the Crown Jewel review is concerned, Josh, would it be live immediately after, or are we waiting later on in the day?
Later on in the day, probably. I've got my wife's car getting fixed tomorrow, and I'm fixing my car too, so probably later in the day.
Okay, so expect the Crown Jewel review later on in the day.
Yep.
Josh won last prediction, so he's still the tribal chief of predictions. It'll be interesting to see if he successfully retains his title here, or if we're going to crown a new predictions champion.
We'll see.
All right, so you get ready to sign off. Where can people find you?
Just find me at WrestleM Podcast, trying to get momentum back. It's just been crazy work, busy, but definitely trying to scrape my way back. And here we are getting predictions and definitely reviews. So if nothing else, you're always going to get those from me for sure.
All right, as for myself, you can follow me on Twitter at @the_. I talk WWE, AEW, TNA. I go live on my channel, Rangers of Wrestling, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays. And then for all things TNA, make sure you check me out every Thursday on Body Slam. And with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. And for the continued support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you can notify whenever we go live or whenever A Plus Hero Reports goes live. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for Crown Jewel. Bye.
Yeah.